Driss, a caregiver, poured boiling water on his patient's leg on his first day at work. He said he wanted to see if Philippe had completely lost sensation. While feeding him, Driss kept stealing glances at a beautiful woman's figure, resulting in the food spilling into Philippe's eyes. When shaving Philippe's face, Driss nearly turned it into a misshapen mess. Despite this unreliable caregiver, Philippe grew fond of him, and they eventually became best friends. You might think this is too absurd, but it's a true story. Philippe, a multi-millionaire, became paralyzed below the neck due to a skydiving accident and relied on others for his daily life. He interviewed many caregivers with impressive backgrounds, graduates from top nursing schools worldwide, and the #1 ranked caregiver, but he didn't like any of them. Suddenly, Driss barged in, slammed the documents on the table, and demanded Philippe sign them immediately. The secretary was stunned and asked him to wait, but Driss bluntly said, "I'm not here for an interview, I'm here for my termination letter. I'll take the compensation and leave." Philippe was drawn to this straightforward attitude and asked him if he had any aspirations besides money. Driss replied, "Of course I do." Philippe laughed, finding Driss interesting, and told him directly, "You're hired, come to work tomorrow." Driss had no intention of accepting the job, but after touring the mansion, he completely changed his mind. The room was bigger than his entire home and had a private bathtub. He decided to stay and start a new life. The subsequent training was a disaster. Driss played on his phone during classes, poured boiling water on Philippe's leg during practice, and even used foot wash on Philippe's hair while washing it. When the phone rang, he lowered his head to play with his phone and handed it to Philippe, a quadriplegic, who could only move his head. However, Philippe wasn't angry at all, and showed great tolerance. Philippe's family and friends couldn't stand it. They tried to persuade him to change caregivers, even telling him that Driss had just been released from prison, and might have violent tendencies. Philippe ignored their advice, saying Driss was the only caregiver who treated him like a normal person. Despite Driss's unreliability, Philippe grew increasingly fond of him. Once, instead of putting Philippe in a wheelchair, Driss carried him into the passenger seat of a sports car and took him for a joyride. On the way, a neighbor's car blocked their path. Driss went over, chatted with the neighbor, and successfully resolved the issue. As time passed, Driss gradually mastered caregiving skills. Whenever Philippe was in discomfort, Driss would be there in an instant. One day, Philippe was gasping for air due to side effects from medication. Driss immediately carried him to the wheelchair and took him outside for fresh air. The next day, he even installed an engine on the wheelchair, letting Philippe experience the Fast and the Furious. Although Driss seemed unreliable at first, he gradually earned Philippe's trust and became an indispensable part of his life.